All right. Ready to dive into another one of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power?
Always ready. What we got?
Law 6. Court attention at all costs.
Oh, this is a good one.
I think it might be my favorite so far.
It's definitely up there.
So this law, it's basically saying don't just blend in, you know. You got to stand out.
Make yourself impossible to ignore.
Right. But strategically, of course, not just like making a scene for the sake of it.
Exactly. There's an art to it.
So why is this so important in the game of power?
Well, think about it. We're just naturally curious, right? As humans.
Oh, yeah. Always want to know what's going on.
Exactly. We're drawn to what's different, what's bold, what's mysterious.
Like moths to a flame.
And in the game of power, that's where influence begins.
So it's not enough to just be good at something or have good ideas.
Nope. Got to know how to package it, present it, make some noise.
Get people talking, right.
You could have the most brilliant idea in the world, but if nobody notices, it's like it doesn't even exist.
So Law 6 is all about making sure you get seen.
And heard.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Yeah.
Besides, like renting a billboard.
Well, there's subtler ways to go about it. One really interesting aspect of Law 6 is this power of mystery.
Oh, okay, like being a little bit elusive?
Yeah, like cultivating an air of ambiguity.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Makes you sound more interesting.
Exactly. People want to figure you out.
Like, what's their deal?
Right. It makes you more alluring.
Okay, I'm seeing this. It's all about strategy.
Absolutely. Like, Mata Hari.
Oh, yeah. The dancer. Wait, wasn't there something mysterious about her?
Totally. She built this whole persona around, like, this Eastern mystique.
Exotic?
Right. She had these elaborate costumes, and she would tell these stories about being from Java, having this Javanese upbringing.
So she basically created this whole, like, fantasy world.
And people ate it up.
Yeah.
Made her irresistible.
But the crazy thing is, it was all fake.
Yeah. Her real name was Margaretha Zell, and she was Dutch. No Eastern heritage whatsoever.
Yo. So it was all an act.
Total fabrication. And it wasn't revealed until she was arrested as a spy during World War I.
Talk about a plot twist.
It's why.
It makes you wonder what other secrets she was hiding.
Right. But you know what I think is interesting about this? You don't necessarily need to, make up a whole new identity or like she did.
Yeah, that's a bit extreme.
But you can highlight certain things about yourself, leave some things to the imagination.
Play it close to the vest.
Exactly. A little mystery can be very powerful.
Okay, so that's mystery. What about, spectacle?
Spectacle's huge.
What about P.T. Barnum? He was the king of that, right? The whole, showmanship thing?
Oh, Barnum was a master. He just understood how to grab attention.
Didn't he do some, pretty outlandish stuff?
Oh, yeah. He knew the power of curiosity.
Like how to get people talking.
Pushing the boundaries. Remember that story about the bricklayer?
Oh, yeah. What was that all about?
So he hires this bricklayer, right? And he tells him, just walk back and forth between the museum and this pile of bricks. That's it.
What? Just carrying bricks?
Carrying bricks all day.
Yeah.
No explanation, no signs.
That's so bizarre.
Right. So people start seeing this and they're like, what is going on? What's he building? What's happening?
It's like you can't not look.
Exactly. And it drove people crazy with curiosity. And guess where they ended up?
Barnum's museum.
Right into the museum. Pure genius.
That is so clever. It's like he took something so simple.
And turned it into a spectacle.
And he knew exactly how people would react.
He understood human nature. We can't resist a good mystery.
Okay, so that's one way. What other tricks did he have up his sleeve?
Well, this one is kind of funny. He would hire terrible musicians, really bad.
On purpose?
Oh, yeah. The worst he could find. And he would have them play these free concerts outside the museum.
Wait, so he was, intentionally subjecting people to bad music?
Yep. And people would be so annoyed, their ears were bleeding.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right, but they would be so desperate to escape the noise that they would pay to go inside the museum.
He's like, I'm going to torture you with this music until you pay me to stop.
Genius, right. He turned a negative experience into profit.
That's brilliant. I would never thought of that.
It's pretty amazing. And, it brings up an interesting point. Even negative attention can be used to your advantage.
It's still attention, right?
Exactly.
But you got to be careful with that, right? Too much negative attention, and you could just end up looking bad.
Oh, for sure. You don't want to damage your credibility.
So it's more about being disruptive, but in a calculated way.
Right. Like Barnum.
Yeah.
He was outrageous. Yeah, but never, offensive or anything.
So people were entertained, even if they were kind of What is this guy doing?
Exactly. It makes you wonder, what would Barnum be doing today with, like, social media and stuff?
Oh my gosh, could you imagine him on TikTok? He'd be
Yeah.
going viral every day.
Right, he'd be a master of it. Okay, but speaking of capturing imagination, let's move on.
Okay, where we go?
Another aspect of Law 6, it's kind of about being unconventional.
Ooh, okay. I like where this is going.
Think a little bolder.
Okay, Boulder. Are we talking Victor Lustig, the guy who sold the Eiffel Tower?
That's the one.
Not once, but twice. How is that even possible?
Well, Lustig, he understood that sometimes to really stand out, you got to break the rules.
Go big or go home.
Exactly. And he did it with style.
I gotta admit, I'm still kind of blown away by that whole thing. Like, was it just a prank? Or was there, like, a deeper strategy there?
Oh, it was a total con, but like a masterpiece. He planned it meticulously.
So it wasn't just, like, the shock value of selling the Eiffel Tower.
No, he was playing a much longer game,
Yeah.
creating an illusion, making people want to believe him.
So set the stage first, then the big reveal.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
first he created this whole persona,
Yeah.
dressed impeccably, expensive clothes, hired a Japanese chauffeur, which was a really unusual sight in Paris back then.
Oh, interesting. So he was signaling, I'm wealthy, I'm connected.
Exactly. And he would even send himself fake telegrams, like stage these things in public to make it seem like he was getting all this important correspondence.
Oh, so sneaky. Like he's in the know, got all these deals going down.
Right. So he's playing this part of like the super important connected guy, and people just believed it.
So when he shows up with this crazy idea of selling the Eiffel Tower, people are already, like, primed to believe him.
Exactly. So he invites all these scrap metal dealers to this super fancy hotel for a confidential meeting.
Why scrap metal dealers specifically? Were they just, like, easy targets?
No, it was smarter than that. Think about the context. The Eiffel Tower, it was pretty new at the time, and not everyone loved it.
Really? I thought it was always iconic.
Well, some people thought it was an eyesore, too modern, didn't fit in with the city.
Huh. I guess every generation has its critics.
Right. So Lustig, he sees this. He knows that some people wouldn't mind seeing the Eiffel Tower gone.
So he's using that to his advantage.
Absolutely. He shows up at this meeting, posing as a government official, and he says, look, the Eiffel Tower, it's just too expensive to maintain. We're going to demolish it.
But how do you just, like, demolish the Eiffel Tower?
Well, he was saying it was all going to be very hush-hush, and that they were going to sell the scrap metal, make some money back.
So he's appealing to their greed.
Exactly. He tells these dealers, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You can be part of this exclusive deal.
Get in on the ground floor kind of thing.
Right. And to really seal the deal, he takes them on a tour of the Eiffel Tower.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. He points out all these, flaws in the construction, these things that are supposedly wrong with it.
So he's reinforcing their belief that the tower's got to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's creating this shared reality where everyone's in on the secret.
And they all bought it.
Hook, line, and sinker. One dealer, André Poisson, he was completely convinced. He paid Lustig a huge sum of money for the rights to dismantle the tower.
No way. And Lustig just walks away with a briefcase full of cash.
Yeah.
Just disappears. And nobody suspects a thing.
That is incredible.
I know, right?
It's like something out of a movie.
It is. And you know what? He tried to do it again.
Wait, seriously? He tried to sell the Eiffel Tower a second time.
A few months later, he goes back to Paris. Same plan. Different group of dealers.
He must have been feeling pretty confident.
Right. But this time, one of the dealers got suspicious and went to the police.
Busted.
Yep.
So I guess even master con men can get a little too cocky.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, the fact that he almost got away with it twice, that's pretty amazing.
It really shows you the power of, spectacle and being unconventional, thinking outside the box.
Absolutely.
But, okay, this is all very entertaining. But what about us regular folks? We're not trying to sell national monuments or anything. How do we use these principles?
Yeah, good point. We're not all con artists.
Right. So how do we apply this stuff in a, more everyday kind of way?
I think the key is don't just try to copy what these people did,
Don't try to sell the Eiffel Tower. Exactly. Focus on the principles behind it.
Like, what made them so successful?
Right. Like Lustig. He was great at telling stories, creating this sense of, exclusivity.
Like you're in on a secret.
Yeah, exactly. It makes people feel special, like they're part of something,
Okay, I can see that. So it's about finding ways to make yourself and your ideas stand out.
Exactly. In a way that, like, cuts through the noise.
Because everyone's trying to get attention, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a crowded world out there. So you got to be strategic.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, think about your own life, your own goals. What makes you unique? What's your story?
Find that thing that sets you apart.
Right. And then think about how to present that in a way that's compelling, that makes people curious.
And it doesn't have to be like some crazy stunt.
No, not at all. It's more about, like, subtle things.
Understanding how people perceive things.
Exactly. You're the master of your own narrative.
I like that. So, okay, give me an example. Let's say I want to get a promotion at work. How can I use these principles, but, ethically?
Okay, good example. So instead of just, like, hoping your boss notices all your hard work, right?
Yeah, hoping they magically realize you deserve a promotion.
Right. Think about how you can really showcase your skills,
Yeah.
your accomplishments.
Make it impossible to ignore.
Exactly. So maybe you volunteer for a big project, something challenging, or you come up with a new idea that really helps the company.
Or you find a way to, like, share your ideas with people higher up.
Right. Make sure the right people know what you're capable of.
So it's not about being manipulative. It's about being strategic.
Exactly. You're highlighting your value.
Makes sense.
And it's the same with, like, starting a business. How can you make your business stand out?
So many businesses out there.
Right. So you got to create that buzz, that anticipation.
What can make people pay attention to you?
Exactly. Don't just do what everyone else is doing. Find that unique angle.
Tell a story.
Yeah. What problem are you solving? What makes you different?
Be bold. Don't be afraid to, like, challenge the status quo a little bit.
I like that. Challenge the status quo.
Okay, so much to think about. We've covered a lot of ground here. From dancers to con men to showmen.
It's amazing how this law, it shows up in so many different ways.
Right, because it's all about human nature, right?
Yeah.
We're all just drawn to these things, the things that are new, the things that are interesting, the things that make us think.
And feel.
So as we wrap up here, what's the one big thing you want people to remember?
Court attention, but do it strategically, authentically, with a purpose.
Don't just do it for the sake of it.
Right. Know your audience, craft your story, and don't be afraid to stand out.
Be the bricklayer. Or maybe not.
Maybe not, but find your own way to be memorable.
Great advice. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been a wild ride, and until next time, stay curious.